I was told I was suffering from anxiety.
Felt like barbed wire was wrapped around my insides but squeezing in.
I was making plans to not be in this world anymore.
There is moments where I did pray to die.
Across the world, millions of women are living with a pain that consumes them, yet for years has been misunderstood, downplayed, and ignored. You might have heard of endometriosis, but, like many people, you might underestimate the reality behind it.
My name is Amy Pavery, and I'm exploring the hidden world of female health, where every day countless individuals are fighting to be taken seriously.
I'm meeting the people living with this life-changing condition to see the physical and emotional toll it takes, and asking why, in 2026, one of the most common gynecological conditions in the world is still taking nearly 9 years to diagnose. This is a story about the pain you can't see and the voices that can no longer be silenced. So, what is endometriosis?
Endometriosis is a chronic condition in which tissue similar to the uterus grows outside the lining of the womb. Symptoms can vary from person to person, but often include debilitating pain.
As of 2025, 1 in 10 women are living with endometriosis, affecting around 190 million people worldwide, and it costs the UK economy around £8.2 billion every year. The average diagnosis time is 8 years and 10 months, and there is no current cure. The question is, why is one of the most common healthcare conditions still being missed? I have come to the University of Edinburgh to get an insight from Dr. Lucy Whittaker, a senior clinical research fellow and consultant gynaecologist.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what's a normal period, and so people think what they're living with is normal. There's that stigma around talking about your period, so they don't understand that what they're experiencing actually isn't normal and that they should be seeking help. We don't have an easy test for endometriosis. There isn't a blood test at the moment or something that can be simply done in a general practitioner's clinic to be able to say, yes, you've got endometriosis. But also there's the issue of research funding for women's health, and historically that's been hugely underfunded compared to other conditions with similar prevalence. So you've mentioned diabetes, and if you think about the amount of funding that goes into diabetes compared to endometriosis, it's just a tiny proportion, and that makes it really hard for us as researchers to do the big enough studies that are representative of the whole population of endometriosis.
Endometriosis currently receives less than 1% of total medical research funding in the UK. This lack of funding is evident when compared to a condition like diabetes. In 2025, diabetes research received £30 million in funding, whereas endometriosis research received just £1.5 million. Dr. Whittaker believes this is a wider problem with women's health.
I think it's frustrating, but I think we see this across the board in many conditions that affect women differently to men. So if you look at, say, cardiovascular disease, most of the research has been done in men. But whereas women, when they have a heart attack or a stroke or high blood pressure, they can present very differently. But historically, research has not taken into account that variation in biological sex, about how that can impact upon a condition.
21-year-old Poppy Harris has been living with endometriosis since she was 13 years old, although it took her 7 years of suffering to receive an official diagnosis.
There's specifically 2 periods that stick out in my head to me that were the worst, and I still remember them like they were yesterday. One of them, I was in second year of uni. I'd been in the shower, I was supposed to be going out, and then while I was in the shower, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, like just this insane pain. It felt like barbed wire was wrapped around my insides but squeezing in. I was on the floor screaming. I was on the phone to my mum, had it on speaker. I was totally just like, I don't know what to do. And I have never felt pain like that. Like, that traumatised me for so long.
After years of back and forth between different doctors, Poppy was eventually referred to Expecct, a specialist endometriosis research team based in Edinburgh.
That surgeon that I saw, Dr. Stuart Jack, was so informative. Straight away, I was like, there's something wrong. I actually broke down in tears, and he was like, why are you crying? And I was like, because I'm getting somewhere. That was like 7 years of like pent up like worry just coming out, and was talking me through all these anti-inflammatories and everything. I have never had a GP do that for me before. And the fact that you got to wait to the point where you're actually seeing like one of the big dogs about it before they're telling you things that I could have been told 7 years ago in a doctor's surgery or by a dietitian is insane. This was my first ever video. I think I've got it pinned now.
After finally receiving a diagnosis, Poppy decided to start documenting her journey with endometriosis on social media, with the hope of reaching others going through the same condition.
Excuse my voice, it's been a bit funky the past few days. My name's Poppy, I'm from Edinburgh. and I suffer with endometriosis/adenotriosis.
I came back from a gynae appointment, which did not go the way I wanted it to go. And I was so angry. I just wanted to speak and almost like expel those words out my system. So I started giving outfit recommendations. I started just being really, really candid with everything that I was experiencing, how I was feeling each day after my surgery, what I packed for my surgery even, what I found the most useful things were. Literally just everything that I was learning from a reliable source, I was relaying it in simple terms. And I just thought, if I can pass that on and somebody can even shave a year off their waiting time than what I did, great, job done. You realise just how many strangers actually have that trust in you to confide in you about things that are really personal, and that not everybody wants to go on the internet and talk about bowel movements. So I was like, well, I'll take one for the team. And the more people that know about it, the more accepted it's going to become.
Poppy's videos eventually caught the attention of Miss Great Britain, the UK's most prestigious beauty pageant, which focuses on charity and the empowerment of women aged 18 to 30. Poppy will be competing this year in the Glasgow division and hopes to further her advocacy for endometriosis.
I would love to be the woman that implements a law in the future to add women's health into the Scottish curriculum for education. I think if you can educate young women and men about that at that kind of 12, 13 age, when they're obviously going into learning about sex education, it doesn't take a lot to add a couple of slides to a PowerPoint, but that can change someone in that class's life.
The Scottish Government Women's Health Plan states it aims to improve endometriosis awareness by delivering menstrual wellbeing education in primary and secondary schools. However, there is still no law that requires this.
Women's health activist Candice McKenzie was successful in implementing menstrual health education in West Lothian schools. Candice has suffered with endometriosis for over 30 years and is the co-founder of Endo Warriors, a support group in West Lothian providing emotional aid for women like Poppy living with endometriosis.
Candice is just my biggest cheerleader, to be honest with you. Like, she's like another mum. She looks out for me, she gives me every opportunity that she can, she gives me every single piece of advice that she has got for coping with the condition, talking about the condition. She's just this pool of knowledge that's so important to me.
Heavy periods, problematic periods are always normalised. Women's health's normalised, you know, so I, much like everybody else, assumed it was absolutely normal to have raging pain up your bum, to have vomiting, to have urinary tract infections. I'd been to the doctors repeatedly. I was told I was suffering from anxiety. I was even told that I had an eating disorder because I couldn't stop vomiting. They suggested I had bulimia.
After years of fighting to be listened to, Candice finally received a laparoscopy, the surgery which determines if you have endometriosis.
They opened me up and they were absolutely shocked about the mess inside. I was kind of obliterated. So I'd lost my right ovary, I'd lost my right fallopian tube. I had huge endometriomas. I had a lot of scar tissue. It was everywhere. After 36 years, you just go, I've had enough. But I love my life. I love my life, and I'm not suicidal, not at all. I'm one of the happiest people you'll ever meet. But when you're in that toilet and you're so isolated because you are in that room, everybody's sleeping, everybody's getting on with their life, but you're stuck in this bathroom knowing and aware that you need to be up for work in like 2-3 hours time. Emotions and anxiety come over you and it's just, you feel hopeless. I had to have a caesarean section, not for a baby, to remove endometriosis, just 4 years ago. I've had 4 surgeries since my clearance. Because it's went through lymph nodes, it's been removed from my artery. It's in my lungs. It's in my nose. It's in my thigh. It's everywhere. But they can't stop it. It's behaving like cancer.
Candice has shown me just how heavy the burden of endometriosis can become. And for some women, that weight proves too much. In 2024, Nicola Tyne, who was living with stage 4 endometriosis, tragically took her own life. After waiting more than a year for scheduled surgery, she was told it had been cancelled and that she would face another 18-month delay. In the wake of her death, Nicola's loved ones launched a petition calling for mandatory comprehensive women's health training for all GPs. It has since gathered more than 25,000 signatures. As of 2025, almost 250,000 people remain on waiting lists for an endometriosis diagnosis, a line that would stretch 191 miles if they stood shoulder to shoulder. Nicola's story is a devastating reminder of the human cost when women's pain is not taken seriously. And it is exactly that cost that drives women like Candice. After being refused a scan despite the severity of her symptoms, she chose to fight back and co-founded Endo Warriors, a support group created to offer women the validation Candice had once been denied.
I am the patient, I know what I'm feeling, and I need you to believe me and understand and give me a scan. And they said no. I says, I'm going to go and I'm going to start a group for women to empower them, to believe them, to make them feel seen, to not have this ever happen again to any woman. So if I can just steer one person in the right direction to have a good appointment or how to advocate for themselves during their appointment or give them advice on how to run their inflammatory plan, how to do dietary measures, whatever that looks like, however that might be. Everything I do is for our women. It's too late for me. I'm on drugs now for the rest of my life. I'm on really strong cancer drugs with no Macmillan nurse, with no support, with no gynaecologist, with no testing. And I don't want that for the women that are younger. I need them to be on the correct path. My meetings, my community ethos is that you're coming to your sisters for a cup of tea. You know, come on in, have a cup of tea, sit down, talk to me, what's your problems? And with every conversation and every dialogue, you usually 9 times out of 10 see a woman leave feeling a little bit more empowered, with a little bit more knowledge and able to be more confident in how she advocates for herself.
I want to see the impact Candice's group has had on women living with endometriosis, so I have come to Livingston to attend one of their monthly meetings.
Warm welcome everybody. Thank you for coming along to tonight's meeting. It's always nice to see your beautiful faces.
After introductions, attendee Natalie Dunsmore shared a recent heartbreak she had faced in her journey with endometriosis after her surgery was cancelled for the 4th time in a row.
So, update on the surgery. I go all the way. I've been here all day. Got all the way here. And the consultant turned in and says that there's no time. Because my surgery's a bit more complex. So there's no time to do it in the day. So I'm just going to come back in February.
Through her agony, Natalie credits Endo Warriors for her ability to keep fighting.
Absolutely heartbroken, but also, like, you guys have basically saved me these last few days, and I'm not even joking. Like, every single person who messaged me, who like checked in on me, like saying if they want to go for a coffee or anything like that, honest to God, like, I was so overwhelmed by the love for this group.
Natalie isn't alone in this view, and other members began to recount how the group has helped them.
Even when you're doing good, the group's there for you. When you're doing bad, the group's there for you. When you're going, like, even, like, you can jump on the group and ask the most, well, what I was thinking would be like the most stupidest question, and there's not a stupid question, and everybody jumps on it within minutes. You've got the support, you've got the help that you need. Even when you're going through like your own life things or you find something new, there's somebody there.
As I've kind of came through life, I've picked up some absolutely fantastic friends and I'm so grateful to them. But there's something just hits different when you've got people with the same condition you've got that you can turn to and go, am I being insane here?
I'm starting to see a glimpse of the strong community Candice has built, where women are able to express raw, unfiltered emotion without fear of judgment.
At a point, I was making plans to not be in this world anymore. That's how bad it gets. This lot helped me pick myself back up and keep fighting. It sucks to be in a position that you can admit that you were at that point in your life. But without this group, I wouldn't be here. It's as simple as... Oh, sorry, I didn't think I was going to go. There is so much gaslighting goes on.
That's the
and it's just somebody that goes, we believe you.
You know, there's days when I think, I don't know what more I can do to help. I don't know what else the team can do to help. Do you know what I mean? But when you sit and hear your ladies talking so fondly about a space that you made because you were made to feel exactly how those ladies are feeling, it just reminds you that you're doing it for all the right reasons.
Stories, like, we've all had different, like, each, obviously every experience is different, but it still just makes me so sad, and that's what I love about the group and why I will continue to keep fighting for women's health to change, because it shouldn't be that the young lassies are still having the same amount of fight, like the same amount of years for diagnosis, the same gaslighting, everything that we've all experienced is still getting done.
It literally steals the essence of your beautiful brilliance and it shits on it, not just for a year, but for decades. And I'd love to sit here now as a 50-year-old wise woman and say, oh, things are going to get better. But they haven't changed. They haven't improved.
I felt so inspired by every single woman in that room, but I couldn't help but leave that meeting feeling scared for the future. I want to know what's being implemented to improve women's healthcare going forward.
Dr. Whittaker is working on a new clinical trial with the team at Expecct, with the hope of ultimately reducing endometriosis wait times.
So Endo 1000 is a really exciting initiative where we're looking to recruit 1,000 women to be tracked over time so that we can really better understand endometriosis, all its different subtypes.
So they'll get this delivered to them in the post, and they will have all the kits for collecting all the different types of samples that we're going to use. So this is for capillary blood, and participants will just prick their finger, attach that, it collects 30 microlitres of blood on the tip, and they'll do all 4. Then it gets sealed up, it dries, and this comes back to the lab, and this allows us to look at different inflammatory markers or different hormones in the lab.
Endo 1000 is currently seeking women to take part in their trial, which will hopefully be a massive step in endometriosis research. But what else is being done? The Scottish Government recently unveiled its action plan for 2025 to 2029. The plan aims to ensure all women and girls feel informed and supported in their menstrual health, and strives to reduce diagnosis times for all menstrual conditions. It also includes the development of a national gynaecology plan, which will initially challenge wait times. The Scottish Government's Chief Scientist Office awarded nearly £300,000 for a 30-month project to investigate if a cannabinoid can safely reduce endometriosis-associated pain. The trial will run until October 2026. There are also 2 new NHS-approved oral treatments, which health experts are hoping will benefit around 1,000 women per year. It has already shown in trials to reduce painful periods and pelvic pain. Women's Health Minister Gillian Merrin has described this as a game changer. And there is an active campaign to amend the Employment Rights Bill, which will provide stronger workplace rights for those suffering from chronic menstrual conditions. 1 in 10 women are living with endometriosis, waiting years, fighting to be believed. And yet, the silence is breaking. There are new treatments, government action plans, communities that make sure no woman has to lie awake at night feeling alone. Progress is happening, but progress cannot just be words on paper, because this isn't just about periods. It's about dignity. It's about equality in healthcare. It's about whether women's pain is treated as urgent or optional. For decades, endometriosis has stolen time, relationships, careers, and in some tragic cases, lives. But the women I've met aren't just patients. They're researchers, campaigners, warriors, and they are demanding to be heard. This is not hysteria. This is not anxiety. This is endometriosis, and it's time we treated it like it matters.